Rebecca, along with memorization, big hours. Yeah. At least really shade. Yeah, nice shaded area for my pale Irish skin. Oh wow. Spectrum is sort of
Well, they're going to do the opposite.
no cool, no doubt. Organizing an Orno that I know about. Probably like. Yeah, have you been in contact with Sonia Mercosol from? Oh yeah. She lives in Orlando. Where are you guys? She directly at the Wilson Center at UNE, which is like it's right.
right back.
You know this song?
Yeah, we know it.
I have a question for you.
We're up there.
Song of the day.
Somebody sent me a video and I could hear that in the background. Everybody was cheering. I didn't know whose band was.
I'm Lisa. Nice to meet you. This is on our board. Yay! It's so nice to What a punishment! It really was.
This land,
I know, we love this.
thank you, 350, for what you guys do.
One more, and then we'll start the speakers. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah.
Such a start. It was so close.
This is our one of this is one of many.
Ready, yes. Well, one of
The irony here is
We're gonna
Can you? Okay. I think it's working. Okay. We are still waiting for one more speaker, but Katie, but she is the third speaker, so we're gonna get started. And I think she said she's like 5 minutes away. So I just want to thank everyone for coming out today. Thank you guys so much. So we're gonna get started, and our first speaker. Well, we're gonna have 3 speakers, and then I'm gonna give everyone the opportunity to sign the executive order right there, which I'm gonna talk about later on, and I'll like elaborate on it. But first, I'm going to welcome Senator David Waters.
Well, thank you, everybody. It's good to see 350 out here, and leftists, I bow down. I bow down. To you. I'm Senator David Waters from District 4 in Dover, and trying to do everything I can to get offshore wind for New Hampshire. And, 350, here we are. This is the time. This is the time to act. We really are at that moment where we have to overturn corporate and political carbon cabal that has been running our energy supply and running our economy. I think back to Thomas Paine's words in 1775 when he said, "These are the times to try people's souls." And I will say that it's getting kind of hot for these sunny day patriots who won't see the revolution that is building around there. Look what's happening in New Hampshire because of carbon. It's not just the air. I work a lot with fisheries, the Atlantic States Marine Fisheries Commission. We regulate the fisheries from Maine to Florida, and we see what is happening. It's not just that the temperature has risen about 3 degrees in the winters for New Hampshire. I like to ski. I remember my childhood. No snowmaking out there Thanksgiving time. But we know the mountains are warming, but the oceans as well. The Gulf of Maine is one of the fastest warming bodies of water on the planet. It's up about 5 degrees. It's why we've lost the northern shrimp. It's why the lobster are moving offshore. It's why species are migrating north. But it's also ocean acidification that's coming down. It's threatening whether or not our shellfish industry can continue because of acidification. And it's also affecting the spawning rate, not just of lobsters and of shrimp, but also of finfish. And it's why fish may be getting smaller and less fertile. And without the oceans, as Rachel Carson warned us, the sea around us, we will not survive. But there's an answer to this. There's an answer to this in renewable energy. And I just hope that those climate deniers up in Concord and down in Washington would hear what this means. They may have their heads buried in the sand, but their heads are going to get wet. The oceans are rising here. You can see even right across from us. The seas have come about a foot since 1900. Portsmouth Naval Shipyard, where my grandfather captained the O-10 in 1920. My mother was born out there. It's going to be cut right in half by the rising seas. A lot of Portsmouth, a lot of our coastline are threatened. But we can do something about it. And I see the sign here. The answer is blowing in the wind. And I will just say, where we are. And I think of the prophetic words of Bob Dylan about the times. They are a-changing. They are a-changing. Are they changing for worse? Or are they going to change for the better? As he said, admit the waters around you have grown. And you better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone. Come senators, congressmen, please heed the call. Don't stand in the doorway. Don't block up the hall. For we will get hurt the longer you stall. And there is a battle outside raging. Now, Bill McKibben is right about a lot of things. He's right about 350. He's right about that. But I think, even more importantly, he's right about the powers people. Right? He knew that Washington wasn't going to do it. He knew that the people had to do it. And that's why we're here today for offshore wind. There's an answer out there blowing in the wind. We can have renewable energy. We can replace all fossil fuels. We can electrify transportation. We can electrify our our heating needs. We can do this. We can do this. But we need the power. The people need the power. It's projected 30 gigawatts of offshore wind along the East Coast are already under contract or for potential development. Right here in the Gulf of Maine, up to 10 gigawatts. And think about it, Seabrook Power Plant is 1.2 gigawatts, all right? So this is the scale that we're looking at, that we could have out here. 3 to 5 gigawatts, the first arrays out in the Gulf of Maine. Gulf of Maine is called the Saudi Arabia of wind because of the power of the wind resource out there and the reliability of it. It is primed for development. It's going to be deep offshore, 15 to 30 miles out there. You probably won't see the towers at all. It'll be beyond most of the inshore fisheries. But why are we stalling here in New Hampshire? Why don't we get moving on this? Why don't we transform our power? The people need the power. The people have the power, but they need to have the power in Concord. We need our politicians in Concord and Washington to line up and get moving on this, and no longer be captured by the fossil fuel industry and trying to preserve. I mean, they still, if they could, they'd be back in the whale oil days, or they'd be looking for dinosaur blubber. I mean, that's where we're at with it. And what does it mean for us to have this development here? If we do a procurement, there's a petition here. If we do a procurement under Senate Bill 151, it's not just that we get the renewable energy and make that commitment and those investments, but it's also we get to protect our interests. Because of procurement, you can say, you better protect our fishermen. You better make sure they're kept whole. You can protect our coast. You can protect the bottom here where the power is onshore. You can protect the onshore environment if you have a procurement. Also, you want social justice? You want environmental justice? You want procurement. Because that's when you can say those communities have been impacted by fossil fuels or by chemicals or the other degradation. We've seen $500 million a year in New Hampshire of health, asthma, childhood asthma, pulmonary cardio diseases. $500 million a year in New Hampshire to those causes. These are the communities that need to benefit from renewable energy. And we can have good jobs. And we can electrify their homes and their automobiles. So it's not just the wealthier people who benefit from this power. And I tell you, Bill McKibben is right. We need a revolution. The people have the power. And with some apologies to Patty Smith, let's say, as Patty says, let's awaken the cry that the people have the power to redeem the work of fools. It's decreed, the people rule. Listen, I believe everything we dream can come to pass through our union. We can turn the world around. We can turn the Earth's revolution. We have the power. The people have the power. The people have the power. The people have the power. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Senator Waters. That was awesome. So now I'm going to welcome Rebecca, who is from 350 New Hampshire. For her to speak.
Awesome. First, I want to thank you all for coming out on this really hot day, and thank you to everyone who may be watching on Facebook right there, staying cool inside. So my name is Rebecca Bollier. I grew up in the shadows of a coal plant, watching the flooding in my community get worse every single year. I'm here because we need a just transition away from fossil fuels to 100% renewable energy. We need offshore wind. Here in New Hampshire, our fight for offshore wind has been a long one, and 350 New Hampshire has embraced community of people, power to get this done. In 2015, we delivered thousands of petition signatures to then Governor Maggie Hassan, requesting that she ask for the Offshore Wind Task Force from the Bureau of Ocean and Energy Management before she left office, but she didn't do it. Then we caught Governor Sununu on the campaign trail and asked him if he would support offshore wind. His response was, if there is community support for offshore wind, I will not stand in the way. So we proved that there was community support for offshore wind. We passed over 20 warrant articles and resolutions across New Hampshire and took them to a rally at the State House in 2018. By the end of 2018, we got Governor Sununu to request that task force for offshore wind. I know some of you who are here were involved in that campaign, so thank you. There was one meeting of the task force in 2019, and then the pandemic happened. The states around us are moving ahead. We're seeing offshore wind in Massachusetts now, and its potential continues to grow. It's time for New Hampshire to join the rest of the states around us in prioritizing offshore wind. That is what brings us here today, to launch a campaign to get Governor Sununu to advance offshore wind by signing an executive order. We're here today because Governor Sununu told us he would not get in the way of offshore wind, but all he's been doing is getting in the way of renewable energy expansion. It's time to tell him to get out of our way and make offshore wind a priority for New Hampshire. Thank you.
Okay. So we are still waiting on Katie, who's going to go third, but I'm going to use this time to explain the executive order instead, and then we can go to Katie when she gets here. So the executive order, as you've been hearing about, I'm just going to elaborate on that and kind of explain what that means for New Hampshire. Sorry, this paper keeps blowing. So as Rebecca kind of mentioned there, since the GOP killed our bill about offshore wind, this executive order is a way to accomplish three main goals. So the first one, which Senator Waters also mentioned, is to get procurement of a lot of offshore wind energy to use now, which is obviously very important. And then the second is to force the task force to meet again. And as Rebecca mentioned, they haven't met since 2019, so this executive order would make them meet again, which needs to happen in order to get offshore wind. And then the third is get support for important things in writing like job creation, environmental protection, domestic manufacturing, and environmental justice that prioritizes displaced workers, low-income workers, and Black, Brown, Indigenous, and people of color. So that is basically what the executive order prioritizes, and those are the three main goals of it. So after Katie does speak, we have the executive order right there, and it would be super helpful if everyone could sign it. And then we also have t-shirts that are $15 as well, but the executive order, so make sure you sign that before you leave. Now we're just waiting for Katie. Yeah, I guess, we could do a song while we wait for Katie. Thank you, guys. Yeah, no, it's perfect, thank you. While the leftist marching band is setting up there, would anyone in the audience want to help me get a chant going? Thank you, Lisa. Round of applause for Lisa. Okay, so I just made this up. My name's Lisa Demain. I've been a part of 350 New Hampshire as a volunteer for a long time, and I'm really excited that I've been part of their 350 New Hampshire Action Board for the last 2 years. We saw them really put pressure on the presidential primary for climate, and it's just really cool to see that they're also able to push the policy side of all of this. So we are going to do a chant that says, offshore wind, we need it now, or offshore wind, want now. I don't know, what do you think? Offshore wind.
Offshore wind, we need it now. Offshore wind, we need it now.
Offshore wind, we need it now. Offshore wind, we need it now. Offshore wind, we need it now.
Offshore wind, we need it now. Offshore wind, we need it now. Offshore wind, we need it now. Offshore wind, we need it now. Offshore wind, we need it now. Offshore wind, we need it now. Offshore wind, we need it now. Offshore wind, we need it now. Offshore wind, we need it now. Offshore wind, we need it now. Offshore wind, we need it now. Offshore wind, we need it now. Offshore wind, we need it now.
Awesome. So I don't want to keep folks out in the heat any longer than they want to, so I invite the Luscious Marching Band to play whatever last song that you would like to play, and then we will wrap it up. If you all want more information about what we're doing with Offshore Wind, go to 350nh.org. Our other campaign is to shut down the coal plant in Bow, New Hampshire, once and for all. So mark your calendars for October 1st through 3rd. There will be some big actions happening on that day. Appreciate everyone for coming out, and we will see you next time. Thank you, Luscious Marching Band. Woo!
Thank you so much, 350, for all your hard work. Thank you for having us. Once again, we are an open band. If you would like to add some music to your activism, please come talk to us.
I mean, it's really that time.
We're going to play
does happen, but we have Katie here right now, so if everyone's okay to stick around for one more speech, then here's Katie.
Hi everyone. It's so great to see all of you here today in support of Offshore Wind. So my name is Katie Lassard, and I'm an intern with 350 New Hampshire, as well as a resident of Bow, New Hampshire. If you haven't already heard, Bow is home to the Merrimack Power Station, which is the last major coal plant in New England without a shutdown date. This plant pollutes the air and water of my community, causing health issues for people in the area, such as asthma, cancer, and heart and lung problems. As the plant runs, it releases greenhouse gases, which are contributing to the global climate crisis, leading to food and water scarcity, rising sea levels, wildfires, and more. This is the impact that burning fossil fuels such as coal, oil, and gas can have on our communities. The New Hampshire state government is trading the health, well-being, and futures of our communities in exchange for money and corporate interests. We deserve representatives who value our people over everything else, not representatives who willingly sacrifice our health and well-being as an unfortunate side effect of their policies. Our government continues to provide funding for fossil fuels only for those fossil fuels to hurt our communities. Our government needs to hear us when we demand to be prioritized. We demand a just transition to renewable energy sources such as offshore wind to prevent the harmful consequences of fossil fuels and to protect the futures of us all. We deserve a future with clean air and clean water. We deserve a future where the government prioritizes our health. We deserve a future where our communities are protected and where people are always put first, not money and corporate interests. Unfortunately, the New Hampshire government has not stood with New Hampshire communities and prioritized renewables such as offshore wind. Sununu claims to stand for offshore wind, but the so-called task force he created hasn't met in over a year. In this past year, a bill calling for offshore wind was killed in the New Hampshire State Senate. I'm here to tell you, New Hampshire, that this is not enough. We demand that we take action towards developing offshore wind. We demand a future where the health of our communities is protected. We demand a future with access to clean air and clean water, a future free of the problems caused from releasing greenhouse gases into our atmosphere. We demand a future that only investing in renewables can provide. The New Hampshire government can and must do better. Thank you.
Woo!
Awesome. So now, if you're getting sick of the heat, which I'm sure plenty of you are, you can head out if you want. Don't forget to sign the executive order and grab some stickers on your way out as well. So
I think by the end of the week.
there's also water if you want water. And again, thank you all so much for coming out in support of Offshore Wind.
Woo! Do you want to end?